Thank you very much, Anya Cordialig. You'll all be delighted that I'm going to try and save my voice for later on tonight, so I won't keep you too long. But just to thank the people that have put down the motions, those that have addressed them and those that actually submitted motions, and to acknowledge that. The one on road safety that Michael Ryan spoke on there, I'll ask my colleague Noel Ahern, who has responsibility for this area, to say a few words just on the road safety programme and the fantastic results that we've achieved in that, the lives that have been saved. And I want to thank Noel for his continued commitment to that and indeed to his work in the Department of Transport. Now, Ireland's progress over the last significant decade and its progress for the next very significant, prosperous new decade depends hugely on us having an excellent, top-quality, sustainable transport system. And sustainable is a key word in that. We obviously have to continue funding and providing properly planned systems to try and move people and goods in the most environmentally efficient way that we possibly can. And earlier this year, we set out a new Sustainable Transport Action Plan that provides the guidelines for us over the next 10, 12 years. And that plan, I set out very, very carefully a new series of targets for government, the principal target being getting 500,000 people more out of their cars between now and 2020, onto public transport, to walk, to cycle. And it's a realistic ambition and it's an essential ambition. It'll improve, if we achieve that, it'll improve our environment, our competitiveness and our health. It'll be made much easier for commuters to get to work. It'll cause and ease the choking traffic that many of you meet every day of your life, not just in the city of Dublin, but in cities and towns around this country. It will ease that congestion and it'll move away from the situation that we have of traffic gridlock, which is a serious economic problem and a competitiveness problem that each of us face. So the plan is smart travel plan. It makes sense. It makes real sense for us into the future. But in order to provide commuters with real alternatives to the car, we know that we have to keep investing in the Transport 21 projects that you're all familiar with. And even in these difficult times, when exchequer funding is scarce, the government is determined to push ahead with the delivery of Transport 21. In the past, I think we all know, when the economy went into recession, we stopped planning for, we stopped spending on, and we stopped delivering on infrastructure, on physical infrastructure in particular, and our roads suffered. That cost us very, very dearly, and we don't intend to make that same mistake again. This government is intent on maintaining the largest per capita investment programme in Europe through our National Development Plan, and obviously Transport 21 is a key part of that. That's this economic stimulus package that you hear people talking about. That is our economic stimulus package. We are borrowing the full €8 billion to finance and support that package. Our investment in transport infrastructure alone this year will create over 25,000 jobs. They're jobs that you see everywhere around the country. Our local government roads funds creates jobs in every county and in every parish in Ireland. So we are really putting Ireland to work, doing the work that Ireland needs, and we need to maintain that. We're building the roads, we're delivering and planning better public transport services, and getting many of the projects that we have, labour-intensive projects, shovel-ready for the future, because we need to think of the future. And continuing with that massive investment programme in our roads and our country and our public transport generally will place this country in a strong position to attract external investment when the worldwide financial situation improves. We're consciously investing, very, very consciously investing heavily to grow the economy of tomorrow. Take an example, Metro North. A lot of talk about it. It's a good example. We see this project benefiting the whole of the north side of Dublin into Fingal and into neighbouring counties. If we don't go ahead with it, then slowly but surely that whole area will grind to a halt, literally grind to a halt. The congestion that will result from the increase in population of over 500,000 in the Fingal area alone over the next 5 or 6 years will mean that it will be impossible for people from all of that side of the city, all of that neighbouring counties there, to get to the city, to shop, to get to work, or to do anything at all. So it's extremely important that the gridlock that we foresee, that we address that, and we do that to ensure that it doesn't cause the major economic damage to the area, be seen to impact negatively on local people's health and quality of life. This is a hugely important project for an area of the country that has been badly neglected by public transport planners in the past. That's one project which will affect a huge slice of our population. The new Dart Underground is another key Transport 21 project. That is based solely in Dublin, but it affects every corner of this country because it will facilitate the integrated networking of each of the rail lines, the Lewis lines, the metro lines in the city itself. It will enable people from various parts of Ireland to come through Dublin, if necessary, and go to other parts of the country. It will link all of the rail modes, the Dart, the commuter, the intercity, the Lewis and the metro. It will be possible to get through every corner of Ireland through the rail system. And it will quadruple the number of rail passengers and allow for further expansion of rail services into the future. Irish Rail have responded to my request to expedite that because they know it is critically important into the future. And because a Fianna Fáil-led government always understands that getting people from home to work, getting goods from source to consumer is an essential measure of our economic planning for the future. And Transport 21, I have to say to delegates here, is not just about Dublin or the greater Dublin area, and the motions reflect this. The motions on your floor reflect it. I passionately believe that it's necessary to build our transport infrastructure in Dublin, but also in other parts of Ireland to act as a counterbalance to the influence of Dublin itself. That's why we've started on the Western Rail Corridor. That's why the Western Rail Corridor is still on track. That's why we're committed to the Atlantic Road Corridor. The largest part of the next phase of all of our road projects is on that Atlantic Road Corridor. And we made announcements earlier this year. We've put all of that project is moving towards planning and going through pre-planning, and is also going through PPP process. That whole section of the Atlantic Corridor from Tuam down through Cork and into Waterford will be completed over the next 4 or 5 years. It's essential